How dare you have an opinion? Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most controversial video game reviews. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're looking at video game reviews that caused outrage and hysteria amongst the gaming community.
IGN gave Killzone 2 a 9.4. Gears 2, which is not even a first-person shooter, got a 9.5. It's 1/10 better.
Number 10, Assassin's Creed 2, Destructoid.
Of course.
Deep breath.
Jim Sterling is definitely a controversial figure in the world of gaming, and his review for the universally acclaimed Assassin's Creed 2 was definitely no exception. Sterling gave this sequel a head-shaking 4.5 on 10, which was lower than the score for the first title, claiming it to be mind-numbingly repetitive with puzzlingly bad graphics and piss-poor animation. Users immediately called Sterling a troll who was intentionally stirring up controversy for attention and clicks, while others simply called him, quote, an utter dumbass. And that was probably the last time that gamers defended Ubisoft from Sterling.
Apparently they do exist. I imagine they've yet to be discovered.
Number 9, Grand Theft Auto 5, GameSpot.
Or perhaps you start by digging deep into the game's story problems, or its serious issues with women.
This controversy was a response to GameSpot's review of Grand Theft Auto 5, in which critic Carolyn Petit brought up issues regarding the game's treatment of women, claiming that it, quote, celebrates sexism. This went about as well as you'd expect in the gaming community, as Carolyn was quickly labeled feminist scum among many other colorful things, and a petition was created calling for her immediate termination from GameSpot. Suffice to say, the petition was ultimately unsuccessful.
It's deeply frustrating that its world has little room for women, except to portray them as strippers, prostitutes, long-suffering wives, humorless girlfriends, and goofy new age feminists we're meant to laugh at.
Number 8, Prey, IGN.
My experience with Prey on PC started out promising, but after 40 hours in this atmospheric first-person RPG, it's descended into a literally unplayable technical nightmare.
If you were a professional video game critic and ran into a game-breaking bug, what would you do? Score the game based on what you'd already experienced? Delay the review? Subtract major points for its major technical issue? This is the situation that IGN's Dan Stapleton found himself in when his review copy of Prey ran into a game-breaking bug that corrupted his save file. Not once, not twice, but thrice. With the third case being a save file that the developer provided. Stapleton enjoyed the game aside from that, but his wall-hitting experience led him to score the game 4 on 10. This severely tarnished Prey's score on Metacritic, and led many others to declare that, quote, gaming journalism was dead. The score has since been remedied, but the review already left its mark.
When after 34 hours, my recent saves all became corrupted, and going back hours to one that worked soon ran into a wall of constant crashes while loading new zones.
Number 7, Killzone 2, X-Play.
Come on, Seb, let's go.
All hands.
Time for us to deploy.
Who knew that a perfect review could cause so many people to lose their friggin' minds? After G4's X-Play gave Killzone 2 a perfect 5 on 5 score, both Microsoft and Sony fans went collectively haywire, forcing Adam Sessler to go on air and defend himself and the company from the abhorrent comments directed towards them.
Wow. I have to say, I saw it coming. I saw it, like with binoculars, looking out there. Ooh, there's that flame war that's been brewing. I never thought it would delve into the level of stupidity that actually manifested itself on our website.
Sony fans took offense to the lack of enthusiasm over the game, despite the perfect score, while Microsoft fans complained about X-Play's supposed bias against their console. And it all caused Sessler to have a bit of a breakdown.
That they were almost upset that the game is as good as it is. Bet their attitude in the review would be more upbeat if it were a 360 exclusive. Joe, you delusional f***.
Number 6, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, IGN.
Uncharted 4: A Thief's End is a remarkable achievement in blockbuster storytelling and graphical beauty.
Feast your eyes, gentlemen.
If you scored 90 on a test, would you go insane and personally attack your teacher? No? Really? Well, that's what happened to IGN's Lucy O'Brien, who found herself on the receiving end of some seriously pissed off fanboys after giving Uncharted 4 a 9 on 10. She called the game a, quote, remarkable achievement and praised nearly every aspect, minus a bloated third act. This caused Uncharted fans to lose their friggin' minds, showing complete disgust that IGN scored a recent Call of Duty title higher and showering personal abuse on O'Brien over her rating. Even though O'Brien never personally reviewed a Call of Duty game for IGN, keep in mind, this is over a 9 on 10.
Though it's let down by a lack of imagination and some self-indulgence, especially in a third act that drags on far too long, Uncharted 4 carries on the series' proud tradition of peerless polish and style, with a great multiplayer component to boot.
Number 5, Pokémon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. IGN.
Back in 2002, Pokémon Ruby and Sapphire became the third installments in the Pokémon RPG series and the most popular Game Boy Advance games of all time.
IGN's review of this title will undoubtedly go down in infamy and will probably live on in Pokémon culture for years. The review was practically glowing with praise throughout, but the score ended up being a curiously low 7.8 on 10. In the review summation, points were docked for the game having too many HMs and for having too much water, despite being set on numerous islands. This caused fans hours of laughs as they tore into the review, criticizing the summary and making jokes out of it in the process, and thus the too much water IGN meme was born.
You also have to navigate many bodies of water, which makes much of the late game incredibly tedious.
Number 4, Alien Resurrection, GameSpot. Using the left and right analog sticks for first-person movement and aiming now seems like second nature. However, back in the year 2000, this was a foreign concept, and we have this review to prove it. Alien Resurrection is considered to be one of the pioneers behind this control scheme, but at the time, this layout completely baffled GameSpot's Stephen Garrett, who criticized the game for this setup, claiming, quote, "The game's control setup is its most terrifying element. The left analog stick moves you forward, back, and strafes right to left, while the right analog stick turns you and can be used to look up and down." If that hilarious flaw wasn't facepalm worthy enough, the ending of the review suggested, quote, "Fans will probably be better off waiting for Fox's recently announced Aliens Colonial Marines for the PlayStation 2. Good advice, guys. Good advice. Number 3, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, the Jimquisition.
The weapon durability systems should f*** off out of video games forever and never come back because they're not fun, they're a pain in the ass, and I personally hate them, which is grounds for me presenting this belief as an objective fact rather than a subjective opinion.
Remember when we said that Jim Sterling was a controversial figure? After leaving Destructoid and venturing out on his own, Sterling still enjoys mixing it up, as evidenced by his review of the new Zelda title. This game received near unanimous perfect scores, but Sterling gave it a 7 out of 10, citing a number of flaws and imperfections in an otherwise solid Zelda game. Not only was this complete heresy in the eyes of Zelda fans, but his review also dropped the Metacritic score from 98 to 97, which meant it was no longer tied for the site's second highest rated game. This was the last straw, and his site was DDoS'd by rabid, crazy friggin' fans. Number 2, Driv 3R, aka Driver 3, PSM2 and Xbox World. For those of you who don't remember the mess that was Driver 3 Gate, here's the 411. Most outlets gave this game 3s and 7s out of 10, but 2 magazines, PSM2 and Xbox World, had given the title spit-take-worthy 9 on 10s months earlier, forcing many to launch an investigation. Both outlets were owned by Future PLC, and many believed that they gave glowing reviews in exchange for exclusivity. Along with that, critical posts on Games Radar, also owned by Future, were suspiciously deleted, and some positive posts were traced to a marketing company who had previously admitted to using shills in forums. Not a good look, guys. Number 1, Kane and Lynch, Dead Men, GameSpot.
Kane and Lynch Dead Men is an ugly, ugly game. That's not necessarily me talking just about the graphics. It's got a really ugly storyline with characters that are impossible to like.
This average at best game was given an appropriate 6 on 10 review from Jeff Gerstmann of GameSpot, and no one was particularly surprised. That is, of course, until it was announced that Gerstmann had been fired from GameSpot. Suspicion quickly grew when many noticed that the game was heavily advertised on said site. While Gerstmann was forced to stay quiet on the matter due to a non-disclosure agreement, he has since admitted that the poor review was a big reason for his termination, as Eidos threatened to pull advertising from GameSpot in retribution. Things worked out for Gerstmann in the end, however, as he went on to co-found Giant Bomb, which was later bought by CBS Interactive, the same company that owns GameSpot.
From my perspective, we did what an editorial team does. We did what we were supposed to be doing. We reviewed games, we instructed people about the quality of games, and we're completely honest.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.